Hello, church, and welcome. I hope you're having a great day. If you may have noticed, if you logged on to YouTube earlier, our recording of worship, we forgot to click the button to turn on the sound to the streaming. Had a lot of technical problems today, and it was just a bit of a chaotic morning, but some pains as we change into this new year, some new formats of worship and everything. But I thought I'd make a little video to talk with y'all about what we were discussing in worship today. Now, I have to admit, I ended up changing up the sermon a little bit today. I had plans for this "What's in Your Cup" sermon, and it just was not hitting me right. A little background on it, which you wouldn't have necessarily gotten if you were in worship. I guess I may have mentioned it, but over the course of this week, and especially yesterday, I was just hit with some of the rhetoric that's out there on social media and the world about people who are so full of faith and believe in the life and ministry of Jesus, but yet are so turned off by the institution of church because so often they don't see Jesus present in the institution of church. And so many who claim the title of Christian and as followers of Jesus who don't preach Jesus' message. And it's really difficult. It's something I'm really kind of struggling with right now. But I continue to pray and read and seek God's presence in the world. But anyway, our reading today in worship came from the Gospel of John, which is what we're in right now as part of the narrative lectionary. We're using that this year as part of our planning. And it's the Gospel of John chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. The wedding at Cana. On the third day there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine gave out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now standing there were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them up to the brim. He said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the chief steward." So they took it. When the steward tasted the water that had become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the steward called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this, the first of his signs, in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. I love this story. There's so much to this story. Many sermons have been given on this story, and there are a lot of jokes that exist on this story. The one that I recalled today when we were in worship was this one of this gentleman who was driving home, and his car was swerving across the lanes, and so the police pulled him over and said, "Sir, what's going on? Have you been drinking?" He said, "No, sir, I've only had water today." And so the officer kind of smelled his breath and looked around the car and found some wine bottles. And he said, "Sir, looks like you've been having some wine." And the guy's response is, "Praise Jesus, he's done it again." And that he has converted the water into wine. Now, it may seem interesting in that you could say the institution of church has really discussed drinking a lot. And if you look culturally at what is going on, if you look at the Old Testament laws, if you look at this, it is talking about, not to drink to excess every day. Do not let your life be consumed by alcohol. But there were moments of celebration. That was the moments of celebration. There would be, the wine would flow, that people would drink in excess. And this by no means me telling you to go and do that in any way, to choose what is the path that is necessary for you, and don't let those things consume you. But in this wedding, it was a moment of celebration. And so the way in which would happen, as is said here in the scripture, is there would be the good stuff at the beginning, and people would drink to excess. And once they got past the point of where they really kind of cared what they were drinking, there would be a transition to wine that wasn't as nice, wouldn't have been as expensive. But you see, Jesus' very first miracle, as we call it, the transfer of water to wine, was this moment in which the good stuff came at the end, when people were already kind of gone and away, and the good stuff was brought out. Interesting thing to happen. And so the reflection I really want to bring today as we're thinking about this is that Jesus offers the good stuff beyond where we think the good stuff is supposed to be. Jesus kind of goes against our cultural norms and things in which, honestly, we could probably argue the institution itself, the institution of church, of Christianity, says is the good stuff. Our building funds and our programs and our things that we uphold, the things that were kind of traditional of a 1950s church that still continue on in our church today, and we continue to seek renewal. Jesus offers good stuff now and always. And so perhaps we're in these moments of like, the good times have already passed. But you know what? Jesus is offering some good stuff. If we're willing to open ourselves up to receiving things, receiving this really good stuff, the stuff that I think would be reserved for the very beginning. The church has lasted for thousands of years. And you know what? Some of the best moments of the church were from times that people thought it would not be the good stuff. People doing what others considered unimportant. And yet transformation happened. Perhaps in small ways, but people's lives have been changed. And so don't hold yourselves short. Let us not hold the church short. Let us not hold God short. Let us remember that Jesus offers some really good stuff. That we should go and share it with others. And this is maybe some after the fact thinking about it, something I probably could have included today. But we can't let ourselves get bogged down by, what was served earlier, what was served first, thinking things that were from early on in our lives, the way things ought to be. We should allow ourselves to see what is happening now, be transformed in the way in which we are called to be now. Open ourselves up to what God has to offer. Our spirituality, our faith. There's so many cool and amazing things happening in the world. In Christianity, in faith and spirituality. Are we open to it? I share one more story. This one is not a joke. It was a serious way of thinking about things, in that a friend of mine had gone to visit a church with her young child at the time, and they sat in the back pew, and their child was interacting with another gentleman sitting in the pew. And I believe the story goes the person was unhoused, but the child interacted and the mom interacted. The child was playing patty cake and whatnot. And afterwards, she got pulled aside and said, "You shouldn't let your child interact with that person." Almost a how dare you. And my friend doesn't really attend church anymore. Definitely didn't attend that one again. There's the preconceived notions of the right way to be in faith. But some of those ways in which we used to say ought to happen, really not helping, are really not allowing for transformation to happen. Think about how the lives in that story had been transformed. The way in which that interaction may have been transformational for that man who was clearly shunned, for that child, for that mom. And the interaction from the church that transformed away from wanting to be part of that community. We have to remember that Jesus offers good stuff. We're not too far gone to have it, to partake in it, but we have to be willing to accept it. So we're entering into a new year. We're in 2026. We have a new worship time, a new order of worship. We're working on some different projects and some exciting things. while also trying to recognize that there's a lot of fluff that I know personally there's a lot of fluff I'm trying to trim off of some things that I've been doing. Really get into the root of just being faithful people. So let's enter into this year excited for what is ahead. Excited for what Jesus is offering and how we can be transformed and be part of the world's transformation. Let us go in peace, joy, and love. I hope you have a blessed week ahead, and I look forward to what we got going on. Bible study Wednesday at 10 a.m., Thursday study, a special one. We're having some guests come and talk to us about the MIC emergency program that we're going to be voting on at our meeting on Sunday. So I hope that you will join us then. If you're a member of the church, I did send out a link for a secure link for you to be able to zoom in and connect that way. So I hope you'll join us. Take care, and God bless you all.